Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. I apologize for the sound problems that has been going on with my videos. I've been experimenting around and trying to find a different sound setup and everything with the microphones. And I've tried several different microphones. I've got another one on order. It should be here sometime tomorrow or maybe the next day. And I'll try it out. But I'm still using the old standby Logitech combination camera microphone. And I'm doing the best I can. But what I want to talk about today, guys, is some things I've been noticing with not only Donald Trump, but worldwide, that certain groups of people, certain agents of the world, is bringing together their area into holding one king or one regent. In mind right now, we're talking about Donald Trump. I see steps that he's making towards conglomerating or congealing, if you will, the Americas, all the way from Greenland. You heard talked about Greenland and Northwest Territories of Canada, and also Canada itself being part of the United States, and also part of Mexico, all the way down through Central America into South America, perhaps. But anyway, all this would be called America. Again, make America great means all of America, North, Central, and South. Y'all need to keep that in mind, what Donald Trump is up to. I've been seeing steps also around the world in Africa and the Middle East and Asia and Eurasia to bring everything under holdings of one central leadership. Someone had mentioned a while back the steps of the Council of Eight, and I'm seeing steps towards this where there'll be 8 regents ruling the world, answering to one overlord or one thing, a council of 8, if you will. But anyway, we're talking about Donald Trump and his bringing everything together to his idea of being king or regent or leader of the Americas. I've had a couple of AI images that you see here that I've had drawn up with the help of artificial intelligence, indicating what Trump would look like as the king of America. Here we see a picture of the 747 that was gifted to Donald Trump by Qatar. It is a luxury 747. It is a 747-8. You can look it up and everything like that. And there's pictures online of what the interior already looks like and what you can imagine what it's going to look like later on after retrofitting and refurbishing and things like that. It is a very state-of-the-art, very lavish type of aircraft. And it's befitting what a king would ride in. Of course, the kings of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Dubai, and other places like this fly in similar aircraft. So we're wondering, this is a king's aircraft. We have been seeing a lot of stuff in the headlines. I'm not the only one who's been talking about this. I'll start talking about this shortly after he came into office. But other people have been talking about this also, that Trump has his ideas of being royalty, the king. Later on, I will show you some other stuff and everything. Long live the king. Trump adds monarch rhetoric to actions. Let's see this going on several places. Trump's plan to make the presidency more like a kingship. And then again, this one's from 2024, where they're talking about Donald Trump as king of the United States. And the Supreme Court thinks so also. So guys, we've already been hearing things about this. And also, I've been seeing steps actually being pushed and coming into this. The things about royalty is, guys, they also very conclusive about the colors they wear. Burgundy, maroon, or purple, red, blue, and gold is the colors that royalty wears. You see in this picture that he's wearing a purple tie, which is very what royalty wears. One of the colors of royalty is purple. Here we see a gold tie, or yellow, but also gold. Another red tie indicating royalty. And red again, the long length also is, I forget what that indicates, but it's something else to do with royalty and the length of the tie itself. And again, another gold tie, yellow or gold, if you will. He's very prominent about his ideas of what he is doing. Remember, the clothing maketh the man, as they say. And this tells us that he wants to be king with the different colors, the gold again, the maroon or the purple, blue, royal blue, I might add, and again purple, again burgundy, 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 the length of the tie again. The name of Trump is trumpeter, okay, or the trumpet, or the horn for a trumpeter or horn player. Also, it's also a name for the drummer. But also, the name also means, if you look right here, the Jew's harp, an instrument used by others. A trump card to play on another student. A trick, often to take a trick. So there's a lot of play on words in here about his name that we could go all over the place. Here's some stuff about his heritage and everything, where he came from. Again, Bohemia, Germany is one of them that his ancestors came from, and actually his beginning is kind of shaded. His family's beginning actually is kind of shaded, but they kind of popped out in the late 1700s. And even then, they was known to be part of the Heinz family. You know, Heinz ketchup and Heinz pickle. He's a second cousin twice removed. One of his ancestors actually was married into the Heinz family. Another little interesting fact, can't find this. I had uncovered this years back, guys. I looked into some of the Donald Trump's history and everything, and found out that, of course, his family immigrated from Germany to the United States and changed their heritage so they wouldn't be associated with the Nazi regime. But it was apparent that his grandfather and his father both, his grandfather at least, was involved with Hitler. So, this goes again. I had uncovered information that Trump's grandfather was the one that worked with, oh, mercy sakes. Oh, shoot, I'm having a brain fart right now, guys. So hang on just a second. Sorry, guys, I had a brain fart and I couldn't remember the name, but it's George Soros who I was looking for. In fact, it was rumored, I caught rumor of it, that Trump's grandfather helped train George Soros as a youth, Hitler Youth. So it goes back a long time. You can even see some of the stuff here, and it's about Jonas Trump, everything all the way up. In fact, his dad did come from Germany and lied about who he was, his heritage, to get into the United States. That was just after World War II. So, guys, there's a lot of talk about who he really represents and everything. And here's the mother, grandmother, or whatever, great-great-grandmother, and all the history of that. You can read through this right here, pause it if you will, but guys, it all points to what's going on here, that who Trump is. And remember, they say all these presidential leaders, all the world leaders are all kind of related to each other. So it's kind of really evident in a lot of the stuff that you uncover. Anyway, guys, I looked this stuff up. And I got in a little hassle about it. They broke into my apartment, stole some evidence and some information and stuff, and caused me all kinds of headaches and everything like that. But here's some more stuff about Trump's ancestors and everything. I actually ask y'all to go ahead and dig deeper than what you see on the mainstream media and all the lies they're going to tell you. It is evident. Right here's the family tree, starting with Johann Paul Trump from 1727 all the way up to the current time and everything. And you can see a lot of his connections and everything. You can research these connections also, find out who they are. Right here is one of them right here, Henry John Heinz, the founder of the Heinz Company. So guys, just look it up yourself and see who he really is, who he is really related to, and see who his ancestors. And like I say, guys, his grandmother, or I believe it was, babysat Angela Merkel, Queen Elizabeth, and the Heinz heiress in her time. So, it's kind of evident who these people are and who they're related, and they're all interconnected and everything. When Trump was elected and he took his oath of office, he took it inside the Capitol building, stood outside like was planned before, made all kinds of noise why they wanted to do it, but the real reason was because of the symbology of the Capitol building, especially in the roof and the stars going around it, and then the symbols inside of the circle there. It shows George Washington, but also shows the god Apollo and several other gods or deities from mythology. I think it's Roman, it might be Greek. I'm not sure, guys. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Here's another picture of it, and you guys, you could see it also a little bit better. And it's all kind of related. Y'all remember about the egg that was suspended from a helicopter, and we never heard too much more about it because it kind of got washed under the table for some reason or another. But it caught our attention. But this is all part of the celebration of Apollo. Y'all remember the spaceship that supposedly went into space, the Orion, the big penis or the big dildo that these 6 ladies rode on into space and came back and made it like it's the biggest thing in the world, which, y'all know that never happened. But all this is kind of related to this egg and the fertility rite we've just seen. Also what we've seen at the Super Bowl and everything else like this, guys. It's all kind of related. But anyway, some more stuff about the celebration of the Apollo. Something I found out that Saturn is the father of Apollo. So we see all kinds of symbology recently, here in recent years, towards these 2 characters, Saturn and Apollo, and of course the others of these this mythology. The phallic symbol, or I can't even think right now, guys. I'm sorry. We see these things right there. The obelisk all over the place like this, all over the world and everything. They are indicative of this type of worship, the worship of Apollo, worship of Saturn, the worship of Moloch, the fertility goddess. One too fast. Fertility goddess. It all makes sense, like this guy says. This is Moon Henry. He's on TikTok quite a bit, guys. Y'all can look him up. And then here's some more about the mythology, Egyptian mythology, and the wife of Osiris and Isis. So it's all connected, guys. Here's some dates right here you might want to look at about different dates. They held their birthdays on or about May 24th and May 25th. So we might want to start watching these dates that are mentioned and these celebrations of Apollo and the Apollo followers. There's also another one here that's July 13th. So there's some more listed here in the next few pages. In ancient Greek was a festival in honor of Apollo held in Athens on the 7th day of the month, which is October 7th. Again, according to legend, Hermes gave Apollo a lyre, and Apollo loved the gift and became skilled at playing music. Trumpeter, musicians, guys, okay? So, Apollo liked playing musical instruments. The Apollo space program was another one that was part of the worship of Apollo, celebration of Apollo. Athens Festival 2024 held from June 1st to September 1st, 2024 last year. And also the Delphi Festival held June 26th to August 12th of last year, 2024. It will be held again this year. Dates to remember, guys. We need to pay attention to these dates and what happens here, not only here, but worldwide, and also in our heavens, if you will. Some more about the Delphi and the full moon events in Greece. We still have them now. So some more dates. August 19th, October 15th, last year. Restoration of the Apollo Belvedere was October 15th last year. And the Temple of Apollo Visitation in 24. Some more about the Temple of Apollo. And some more, a little bit more. So ancient Greece, Apollo, the god of music, prophecy, and healing, was honored through various festivals like the Pythian Games, Dela, and I'm not even really going to say these words, guys. I'm not a linguist. I'm not good at this. But you can see the stuff here, guys, that they are talking about. Everything we've been seeing the last several years, including a few years back, is all pointing to what this is all about. These people that's in our picture, the ones that's supposed to be presidents and others, they're selected. They're not elected, guys. They are chosen years ago. The whole thing plays out in front of our eyes like a bad written story, soap opera. So more dates that we need to pay attention to, more celebrations that goes on, and other aspects of the celebration of Apollo, which is what is going on right now, guys, even with the election and not only that, but the inauguration and every event since then has been about the celebration of Apollo. Some more information. Again, the colors of Apollo is gold and yellow. What do we see Trump wearing quite a bit in the most previous pictures? Gold and yellow. And also the colors of royalty. We got new stuff coming up from President Trump, which kind of indicates to me that he's given more authority to the police department, law enforcement. This also goes with what he's been doing with the military. Y'all remember back just before the Hurricane Helene hit North Carolina that they enacted a law or executive order from Biden, supposedly, that gave the military authority to go ahead and not only apprehend, imprison, arrest, and shoot to kill civilians. All military do this. I want you, this goes into other stuff that has been going on for the past 2 years. Y'all remember back, this brought up a little bit of alarm about how they made sure that all federal employees had either 9mm, 10mm, or 40 caliber handguns, and they kept them with them at all times. They also bought up ammo for these. So, guys, these are important facts of what's been going on with Trump coming up and doing these new things like this. He gave executive order to get police departments more military gear and more connections with the military actions and federal response and everything. This is all leading to martial law, guys, right now. Every bit of this, every one of these steps right here with the police department and investing the military to be able to arrest and detain and kill civilians on orders from the White House or their leaders. Kind of shocking stuff, guys, that we're seeing these two forces combined, the police force and the military force, to quell insurrection or other unrest inside the United States. And guys, it's getting ready to get real uneasy in the United States. We see the new data, how many executive orders Trump has already signed so far this year, far exceeds anybody else's that they have ever done during their presidency. Right now, it's much, much more. A lot of these executive orders are alarming. I want to remind you guys that years ago, it came out from the Obama administration and probably also Bush administration, Clinton's also probably, about who terrorists, recognizing terrorists inside the United States. And a lot of people, a lot of groups, not only militias and paramilitary organizations or hunting clubs and other groups, but private clubs, churchgoers, and everybody else was named homegrown terrorists or threats, considered threats to safety and security of the United States. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember them talking about they was going around and tagging up people's mailboxes with different color stickers to see whether you was compliant, a dissident, or able to be re-educated. Y'all remember this stuff? This was years back, guys. We kind of forget about these steps that has been taken years before. So, again, remember who was cited as being homegrown terrorists or homegrown militia or dissidents that would go against a regime change. Y'all thought it was all for the left wing, but guys, they're all in the same cooking pot, and it isn't good for us. So, you can go back and check all these facts up, guys, and see what they're talking about. Now, we're going to look at these executive orders, some of these executive orders that Trump has already brought up into us to start looking at. Here we see a picture of Donald Trump as king or dictator of the Americas. Believe it or not, guys, this is where we're going. Y'all remember the movie that came out on Netflix, Civil War? And we're pretty much there. Application of protecting Americans from foreign adversary-controlled applications. This also includes people already inside the United States. Clarifying the military's role in protecting territorial integrity of the United States. Doesn't say what their limitations are or where their holdings are. This could go on inside the United States. Again, the military has been authorized to fire upon civilians. Clarifying and declaring a national emergency, energy emergency, designating cartels and other organizations. It does not say inside or outside of the United States. It says other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorists. It does not say that these people cannot be in the continental United States. Nowhere at all in none of these statements, guys. These things are things we need to be concerned with and kind of scared of, worried about, because it is not really specific to who, what, or where, or when. Ending weaponization of the federal government. Well, that could be taken several ways, because the federal government also includes the judicial and legislative branch as well as the executive branch of the United States. And ending the weaponization also means ending their ability to interfere or stop any actions considered illegal or unethical by the president or the so-called leader of the free world. Initial recensions of harmful executive orders. What is considered harmful in one person's view is not considered harmful in another's. Okay, this goes back. It says certain groups of people, but this also could be used in any number of groups of people that they consider be under these harmful executive orders and actions. Got to remember, guys, these are broad statements that they're making with these, and it can be done and used in any certain ways. Protecting the people, American people against invasion, protecting the meaning and the value of the American citizenship. These all look good on paper, guys, but we've got to remember everything has a double, triple, or quadruple meaning or use. It's apparent what they've done to us before. It doesn't matter left wing, right wing, middle wing, up your wazoo or whatever. They all give it to us hard. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. This is the big one right here, guys. Remember, I told you who is considered a public safety threat in the United States. People that go to church, people that believe in God, people that own handguns, people that believe in Second Amendment and all the amendments and everything, freedom of speech and other things, people that belong in hunting clubs, etc., etc. Motorcycle clubs even could be considered a public safety threat. So again, another broad statement to include just about anybody they designate as a public safety or national security threat. Terms we need to be worried about are what's coming down the pipe. Restoring the death penalty and protecting the public safety. Now, the federal government can now use these executive orders because of people they want to imprison. They can go ahead and execute them, depending on what the charges are, the extent of the severity. Y'all remember the guillotines, those 20,000, I think it was, maybe it was more than that, guillotines that we no longer heard about? Why do you think they would have them made? Why do you think they have kept quiet about it? Why do you think Google has erased all evidence of these things, and YouTube also? Y'all do remember all these guillotines, right? I think we're about ready to start seeing them used, putting in play. They're talking about illegal immigrants and criminals from across the border. But again, guys, a couple statements ago, we found out who they consider to be threats to the safety and security, public safety of the United States. You, me, and just about anybody else they deem that way. Securing our borders. Well, sometimes securing your borders means keeping them out. It also means keeping them in. This is about designation of a certain group as a terrorist organization. This goes against a group in the Houthis over in the Middle East, guys. So there's, excuse me. There's reason why this is going on, but it all leads to steps what's currently going on now. Excuse me, a little scratch in my throat. Removing barriers to American leadership in artificial intelligence, which actually, guys, if you look at it sideways, the way I kind of do, tells us that artificial intelligence can become part of the American leadership. They could replace our legislative leaders, our elected representatives, and judicial watches. That could be done away with artificial intelligence. And where does that lead us to? Well, the overthrow of artificial intelligence over the world, of course. I know I'm going way out there with this stuff, but, you know, everything is about to wide open on us. And I do believe this is steps in that direction. Prioritizing military excellence and readiness. This is the steps to get the military ready to fire upon persons they consider threats to the safety and security of the United States, foreign and domestic. It's not only that, it's also a fitness program that's going to be enacted. Some of y'all may remember back in the day that there was a presidential fitness program enacted by President Kennedy back in the 60s. Well, every student in school had to participate, do so many push-ups, sit-ups, and all this other stuff, run a mile, and all this other stuff. You had to pass this kind of a physical every year in school, just about. And, of course, this was enacted by President Kennedy, and I do believe we're about ready to see this also enacted Remember who took over the Department of Education was Linda McMahon. She is the CEO, I don't know if she still is, was anyway, the CEO of one of the largest sports organizations in the World Wrestling Federation, the World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. They are very big on fitness. So what do you think they're going to start doing? Since we want to make a big excellence and readiness of our military, then they need a little bit of prior training before they get into the military, such as during school. So we will probably see a new fitness program enacted by the President's Council, a President Fitness Program again, much like John Kennedy did back in 1962, I think it was. Reinstating service members, people that's got a grudge against the government, people that got a grudge against people that done them wrong, they will be reenacted, given pay and rank and benefits, restoring the fighting force. And the Iron Dome, guys, this is the big one right here. We heard about the dome over Israel. Now we're going to have one here, and this is all done with artificial intelligence, guys, and we need to be aware of this. Donald Trump is protecting the Americas. You watch and see how far this goes. I've seen some images of it before, how they predict it's going to be, and it's like a bubble, like in what was it, The Simpsons? They had a bubble. Y'all remember that? Duties to address the flow of illicit drugs across our national border. Okay, we're trying to get that at hand, the fentanyl. They say it all comes from Canada, guys. Don't believe on what they say. They're trying to get all their drugs in hand. So, of course, we've seen the recent things about it. Don't trust what's going on, what they tell you at all. But, yeah, we do need to get a hand on this import of hard drugs like the opiums and the speeds and heroin and all that stuff, guys. It needs to be stopped. It's imposing situation, addressing problems on the southern border. It's also about the northern border going. And here's another one that's big: is I plan for establishing a United States sovereign wealth fund. Now, a lot of times we hear about the sovereignty. That usually has to do with a royal family, the sovereign royal family. Their wealth is based on the sovereignty of the nation, paying a duty or a tax to the royal family, the sovereignty of the royal family. And we're already seeing steps that they're going to establish this. Trump is going to have a fund to be king, a king's fund, withdrawing the United States from and ending certain funding to national UN organizations. This is establishing the United States as its own kingdom. In fact, establishing the Americas as a separate kingdom. It's taking steps, guys, one step at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you will see it as it rolls out. It won't be called this, but this is what's going on. Sanctions on the International Criminal Court, which means they are no longer going to support or answer to the International Criminal Court, which removes Trump from any international charges. You'll see how that goes. Protecting Second Amendment rights. Of course, we need that, but, they want a gunfight, guys. They want us to all fighting each other. So, of course, they want us all to have guns. One voice for America's foreign relations. One world government. One voice. One representative for the Americas. Establishing the President's Make America Healthy Again. Remember, the President's Fitness Program. Establishing National Energy Dominance Council. Guys, the wording and phrasing of these things like this should make us literally consider what the hell is going on. Again, another image of dictator Trump. Kim Jong-un, or whatever his name is, over in Korea, North Korea. Yeah, right there you go, with blonde hair. And right here we see this. This is what I've been talking about, guys. Donald Trump is bringing back the legacy and even more of what John F. Kennedy wanted to do, talking about bringing in the Camelot, the new Camelot to Americas, which is a new kingdom. He was trying to set up his own dynasty at that time, and now we see Trump doing the same thing, bringing in his own dynasty. His son will step into the picture at the appropriate time. Y'all remember the stories of Barron Trump? Well, is it predictive programming, or are they following along with the plan? I do believe it's the plan. So Donald Trump is actually bringing in the part of the legacy of John F. Kennedy. They reopened the files. There's a reason for all this, guys, because he's following in the footsteps of. Again, we see another picture of King Trump. Hope y'all have a groovy day, guys. This is all I got for you right now. But later, taters.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!